guys, what can we agree to live with? Because we don't see it being
The
very
population
agreeable
is not
for this,
population is not growing.
for this doing this
right now.
number. Yes, we
Population's
don't
growing
see
every
this
year.
as,
Huh?
Population's grown every year.
But not growing at a rate that used to be
Right.
growing.
we didn't go from 23,000 to 79,000.
It grew 2% last
But
year.
it's growing.
I know, but the point is, we don't think this is reasonable. And what we're trying to get at is, what can we agree to? Because you as a library board can set your rates.
Well, I as a
You
library
have,
board can't do
well, the
anything.
library
I'm-
board, the
I'm
library
there.
board can set their rates. They can decide what to set their rates. They don't have to call for a petition if they decide to reduce the rates. They don't have to do that, okay? We don't like this, and we're frightened to death that we're gonna make a great big step that no matter what you do, no matter how wonderful you can manage that, you're not gonna be able to manage it with very tight controls, and we think that this number will climb way up there. So what we're asking is, we'd like to be able to come to an agreement as to what is something that could be manageable, what do we have to do, what do we have to generate outside this fund. You can have fundraisers help you generate whatever shortfall you have to try and get it in control so that we all feel like we are being taxed, but we are being represented. Because right now, we don't feel that.
Here's my input on the whole tax and being represented thing, and since you have elected to look at every taxing district, here's what I think you need to be asking for, is I think you need to ask for every, a representative from every taxing district to sit down together and talk to you all at the same time.
It is possible. It will be happening.
At tax rate time, I mean, because nobody's going to be able to do anything with their tax rates right now. They're somewhat looking at their budgets. Everybody's budget has to be there by May 1. So they've got some number that they've played with. But they can look at their tax rates. You can ask for them to kind of do their tax rates. And everybody needs to sit down at a table at the same time, all the taxing districts, and say, let's all decide on our rates and what we're going to do. If you all are working on a building right now, why don't you all be the only ones that take an increase, and we'll all drop ours this year?
But can you?
Hey.
But is there
What is
any
the-
You're more likely
in the
to
board
see
in
that.
the board environment? In the board environment,
They're
each one of
jealous of
these
you.
have a board. Okay.
We're already getting.
Each one of these have a board. I don't think there's any one individual that can sit down and talk to us and say, okay, we'll do that. Every one of them will say, well, I gotta go back and check.
They can't promise you that,
They can
but
take the suggestion.
they can take the suggestion and work at that.
And those poor people will come back.
And I
Oh.
think, well, and I think if it's the public you ask for it, you could probably ask for a public forum that's advertised and all boards be there at the same time.
Clay Community Center.
If it's
Saturday.
advertised as a public forum, everybody there at the same time and all the board members be there.
But you know as well as I do, you have to kind of, sort of like, I hate saying this, but sort of like our federal government, you have to have a committee, bring out stuff and reduce the amount of stuff in order to get something done, because you saw in your meeting, it doesn't necessarily accomplish a whole lot.
No, but I mean, that would be, if that's the one thing you're gonna talk about, special rates, that one conversation, I think that would produce more of an effort and, could do something in this community that could be a, model
Prototype.
for everywhere else.
Thank
That would
you.
get more done.
Thank you. Can you imagine if you lower the rate across the board on every department, this community will grow. This community is one of the best communities that I found across. I've been in Cynthiana, Denver, Harrisburg, every community before I moved here. I checked every community. Montgomery County was one of the best communities to live, to move in, and that's why I moved here. And it still is, because there's people from Wolf County, Menifee County, Morgan County come to Mount Sterling to work every day driving. So this county has a lot of potential. So if you lower the rate and bring a lot of businesses in the way they are moving and the way Mount Sterling growing, even at a lower rate, you wouldn't have no problem to
Of course, the
maintain.
problem you have with all those people that come in from out of town, you're not getting their taxes, you're having to provide their service. And that's what we see at the library sometimes.
I understand
too.
that the people from out of town, but if you build in the economy in town, the people moving in, developers. There's so many. I cannot imagine how many houses are in Mount Sterling empty, sitting because there's nobody but them. Because there's no money, there's no job. And do you know how many tax bills I bought last year and the year before and 2 years ago at the courthouse steps? Do you know how many people did not pay taxes?
That's right.
Oh, I know, because we don't get those taxes when they don't
Hey,
get paid.
do you know why I
You still
buy
get
them?
paid.
I buy
Eventually,
them
don't they?
from the sheriff
It is
and pay them
somewhere
for
as
you.
a long delinquent eventually.
It's
I
paid
think
later,
it's a
though. You don't
long-
get it when you
yeah.
should get
No,
it.
we don't get all of
Do
them.
you know-
And that's another reason why our calculations don't match the calculations on the assessments, and what comes in don't match, and.
Listen,
Yes, it's a long story.
If economy the way it is, if it rolls at 20% down, all Montgomery County will be in trouble. If that will happen, believe me or not only you will not have a heart to cut the employee, but you're gonna worry about your job.
Do you think I haven't worried about my job for the
No,
past 3
but I
months
mean-
with Shannon wanting to cut her pay?
No. Nobody's firing you.
You haven't slept
If
for
I had a
months.
gold medal, I would give it to you. You did an excellent job. But I want to ask you one question. If it's possible, without getting into the more debt, bigger problem, can you manage it to the most efficient way? Where you at? That's my question. If you don't understand my
Okay,
question,
well, I
please
understand
ask
your
me.
question, but here's my honest answer.
Tell me.
If I have to stay in that building down there, I'm finding a new job. That's my honest answer.
I'm
And I
sorry.
understand that
I hope it's not
perspective.
The
my question.
toilets don't work, the roof leaks,
We got some money, we'll fix it.
there's not enough room, I mean, there's 400 people in that building every day. You know, we're piecing together the internet.
So does the fiscal
I mean,
court
there's
provide
something
fix the
maintenance?
roof,
wrong every day.
Okay,
We
so
are the
do you need,
stepchildren.
let me ask you something.
Thank
You
you.
need industry to come in with maintenance people to fix your stuff? You need that?
Oh, I-
You
There's
need
the
that?
money. You have
You
the
need
money.
that?
You just cut it.
Because here's
eliminating
the reality of it, okay? Here's the reality of it. Last year, no, 2010, Carol and I and my partner cashed out our 401ks to stay operating. Now, I didn't say, you know, if I don't get a bigger office, or if I have to put up with all these people that whine and cry in my office every day about not making enough money, I'm quitting this job. What I was looking at is, I most likely will lose my home, my business, and I don't have any money left because I had to sink every last dime of my money in. What I'm trying to tell you, what he's trying to tell you, is the economy.
and
Please don't listen to Obama.
I
Please don't
understand
listen
that.
to the government. And what we're saying is, what we're afraid of is the only entity in the United States, in Kentucky, and in Montgomery County that is expanding right now are governmental businesses. The ag department, the fire department, the library. And what we're saying is, man, can't you see this? You know, we're sitting here. My newest car is 11 years old. You know, if I put in 20 hours a day, I think I have a right, if I want to buy a car. Do I? No. Why do I choose not to? Because I see the reality of what we're talking about.
That's mine's a 2001 with 230,000
Right.
miles.
And I took a 35% cut in pay in 2008, and I have not gotten one dime back yet. And in 2010, I cashed out my 401k. So did my wife, so did my business partner, okay? To keep payroll being paid, okay? So what I'm saying is, the reality is, boy, we might have to pee in a pot that don't flush. We might have to have a bucket under the roof that's leaking.
We have that
And I'm not
now.
saying, yeah, we do.
And
We do
we've
it now.
got that, that's what I'm saying,
We
but
can
we
fix it.
see
We can't
reality.
afford to get a
So
divorce.
what
You know,
we're frightened
we
of.
have all those people down there every day filling out their unemployment on,
Right.
you know, we have all those
So what
people
we're
down there
frightened of-
looking for a
Why aren't
job.
they
What
at
we're
the
fi-
unemployment
We want-
agency
Yeah,
filling
why
it
aren't they
out?
done employment?
Because they don't
Tell her,
provide
you've
that.
been there, the computer don't work most of the time
Well,
down there.
my
and
That's
they
their
send them
That's
to
called
us.
government.
Yep.
There's right there. There's a government.
So, I mean,
Right there.
right,
go
we
buy
can't
more
fix the
computers.
government,
I
that's,
understand.
we can't tell them to
I
go get them,
wanna
but they
go
just
split-
keep sending
But
them to
what-
us.
You send them back.
What frightens us is,
But I
like
never
I said,
really, you send them back, no, you say, well, I'm sorry, you don't have a job, you come over here, we've got a computer. Because
thank you.
otherwise, you get somebody in your face that, I'm a taxpayer and this is my right.
Yeah, I see your opinion.
I understand.
You know, it happens.
Yep.
yeah. So
All the time.
what I'm frightened of is when I see the state government running out of funds, and I don't know if you know it or not, but
They're liable to
2000
swoop in and take the $1
in
million.
2011, in 2011, the state
Just like
government.
wins the prize across
Just like that.
This is real important for you to understand, because I didn't even know that this was possible. I didn't even know this was possible.
right. That's
Even
right.
though I've worked for barely minimum wage for
They're
25
threatening,
years,
aren't they?
that's
They're-
exactly right. Do you
Here's-
think I like that?
Nope.
No.
Here,
Do you think I like paying a restaurant tax that I never had any say in?
Nope.
You know why I didn't have a say in that? Because I live in the county. I can't vote for those.
That's right,
commissioners.
yes.
well, I was,
I'm in
knew
the
how it was
same
being
I
boat
was the
you
second,
are.
I was in this, I was the second highest property taxpayer in Mount Sterling when my business was in Mount Sterling. And I wasn't even allowed to vote in the mayor's. Even though I had the second highest property tax, I wasn't allowed to vote in the mayor's because I didn't live there.
And I'm gonna tell you something else about these tax incentives for these
Concession packages for the.
manufacturers. My son works at a factory in the industrial park. When he got his W-2s, I looked at it, and he had a city tax on his statement. He does not work in the state, in the city. He's paying a city tax to Michigan because he can, because that's where that company's based.
Oh,
How you like that?
Never heard of that.
We're not getting any of that money
I heard
here.
that the other day.
But-
Somebody else.
That's ridiculous.
That's outrageous.
Well,
That is.
it's based on whether the state makes you pay where you work or where you live.
Where the company is.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but
Glad
what
you were
what scares me to death, and just so you know it, in 2011, after the state borrowed money from the federal government to pay unemployment because there were so many people unemployed, the state didn't pay back the federal government. Guess who the federal government went to make us pay what the state borrowed? Us. So now we had to pay federal unemployment tax, we had to pay state unemployment tax, and we had to pay what the state borrowed from the federal government. Another tax, another
And,
tax.
you know,
So
the board is very aware of that, and that's why they have worked toward saving money for a project, you know, whatever, and it may not end up being the hospital. It may end up being somewhere else.
But what scares us about that is
And
you're
instead of saying,
expanding.
we're going to do a bond issue, or we're going to borrow money, which is gonna cost outrageous in interest, you know, they've worked towards saving it. To,
But
you
what
know,
we-
be
but we-
less
but we-
in money.
But what we did was, we didn't expand. That's our point. The perspective of private industry versus public, the perspective still doesn't quite match up. We're trying to figure out how to survive, and what you're trying to figure out is a better way to expand. And so it's like on two different playing fields. And it's hard for us to understand. It's hard for us to understand, and it's hard for us to justify, because you know what? According to what we now know about Obamacare and what's going to happen with every time you do a banking transaction, you're going to have a 1.5% transaction on every time you make a deposit, make a withdrawal, write a check, do anything. Okay? When Obamacare comes full into force, I look for another recession, because companies won't be able to afford it.
And see that the board is looking at that too. So therefore they wanna be ready, because we'll be providing even more services to more people that can't provide, can't pay for it at home.
But
If
eventually,
they don't have internet
if you have
at home
nobody
because they
paying
can't pay
you,
their bill,
but if you have nobody paying you, because everybody's losing their house,
How you gonna pay, provide the services?
eventually the gas runs out. That's what our
That's-
concern
that's
is.
right.
and I understand that,
The
but
budget has to be.
Yeah.
Time to go, guys.
State
I
of-
really
And
thank you.
hey, look, I know that we talk and it gets excited and emotional, but I do want you to go away knowing one thing. We really, honestly, truly appreciate your openness, you coming here, us grilling you, not grilling you, but it does have to sound like that from time to time. Because that's what we believe is the first step towards understanding. Because if you notice, people were talking to you about, well, if we go into this new building, how do we control it? Will the rates go back down? When we first came to you, it was, damn it, you're gonna live on $200,000. Damn it, you're gonna have 1 penny, you're not getting a penny more. So we are talking, so we're just trying to find a way to do that. And I agree with you. Maybe if we can have cooperative spirit. We haven't met very many cooperative spirits other than the library.
And I think if you try and, I think everybody's really afraid of that.
If a library do need to expand, absolutely 100%, I will support 100%. We can probably cut maybe from a different department, shave it up a little bit, to add it to it. If it's a year or two, if we pay extra, if I have to pay $30 or $100 or $200 more, it wouldn't kill me. If it's absolutely necessary. At this point, I don't see it necessary. Absolutely, I don't see it necessary because there's so many different ways that you can eliminate the problems that you have. I mean, if you fixed the roof 5 years ago, you will never have a leak. If you fixed 3 years ago your bathrooms and plumbing, you wouldn't have a problem. So, I mean, if you just put from last year all the money you put it towards the budget and provided a laptop and rent them and do different ways, you wouldn't have the traffic.
So we actually.
So all the problem could be eliminated or minimized.
And we fixed the roof. The roof leaked from like.
Call the
third year,
insurance.
it was
You have
built.
insurance. Call insurance.
The county.
There's only so much it'll cover. Only so long it'll cover. But we have fixed the roof.
Yeah,
Fixed the
why
roof.
don't the
Fixed the
county
roof.
help?
It
You
was
did not-
faulty from the day it was built.
I think
We
we
didn't have any.
Melissa, by the way, you can help us if we try to get this group together of taxing. You can help us by telling them that we may have a bark, but we don't have any teeth to bite. You know,
Yeah,
because
and-
we need somebody to let the guard down. You never had your guard up, so it was easier to talk to you.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
many of the other people have their guard up, because I guess we
We
fight.
don't have our guard up because we don't have anything to hide.
Exactly, and they shouldn't either, right?
And I don't think any of them do. I just think they're all, they're really afraid of.
The fundamental problem does not belong to us, although we are struggling under it.
That's yes.
It's a state level gap in
Everybody at the
stuff.
local. That's right.
And so we're having to hash this out. And we will all be here when we hash it through, or we get to whatever resolution. But the fundamental problem is not ourselves.
Yeah, the state legislators
The
have left us
legislative
in this
issue.
position.
Yes.
You're right. If it had
So-
been cleared up and straightened up and taken care of on that level,
And I want you to know,
to be clear,
I would,
and
I would,
well defined.
I would more than happily help you with a donation when my business recovers. I would. And she was right. We do a lot to help you. And we will do that. And you're now getting access to people that you never had before.
Maybe it's a good thing for library, honestly. You might not realize it. You might see us as other people or see me as a stranger, but it might come out something very unique and creative and good thing and positive. It's not about that. I mean, no, I really think. I don't know.
Your agenda. That's right. No, it's worth it. It's worth it. Actually, yeah. Yeah. We do that, I know what you guys read. You can do it. Don't worry. It's Oh, yeah. I saw that Mercedes driving.
But easy thinking. I'm sorry if you didn't, if I did, got a little bit. Just the way
It's the first time I've ever
Well, that's fine. I really appreciate you staying last night. I'm glad you did.
like I would say, everybody
Would to interact and get to hear what goes on and see how much the board really does get into thinking, looking at the financials and all the information.
You up there. We are here. You are us. Well, you are one of us. You just do it or you completely require
It's called creative, yeah, it's called creative.
I love creative like that, that's great.
Is that the pawn shop?
I'm being sued.
You wouldn't believe how many in Jeffersonville people want to be elected. A lot of people come to the pond and take their cars all the time just to pay the work. They bring notice.
Charged me for this stuff. He admits in court under his defense. $120,000 because this is not should be. Also, he'll pay you back. So, I mean, that's what I like you said. And I told him before we started, please don't do this. You know this is bad. People say,
I got a punch in the chest. I worked for daily for 3 years, but it's like I spend my time like Jesus to study the most poorest, most negligent, unknown, most discovered. What is the problems? Half of them, they want to live the way they want, and half of them, they cannot keep up the way it is. How can you help those people that you want it?
Well, see, and that's my big thing. That's my question.
We just passed it on, I'm not. When they say, well,
the same judge.
And then I'm struggling with get assistance, get help, and then they probably better for them. Their meals are done, they go to the church.
They're in a real bad way. We'd like you to, we'd like you to walk away.
But there are those people that,
I told
and
you.
there's several examples that I told me that,
Back off.
that mothers, their children,
My case,
husbands,
much stronger than this.
and they've grown in, now they own businesses, and you know, they're working, they struggle, they're doing really well.
There's nobody.
And I want to make sure that service is there for those people. And we just have to build the other that's there.
He has money.
To make sure that,
I'm
oh, he does?
paying taxes.
Then the
Provide
good
library
news is
for
in
me.
federal court.
I'm paying taxes to provide somebody.
That's
how
wherever your money was at the time you bring about suit, but it has to go back. So I plan on doing it.
And I know,
When
I was sued by the
city, what the issue is, really issue for.
They said that I was violating.
If this continues the way it was continuing,
It's I want. Yeah, it's, I want to.
library is an entity that exists basically on income tax. If the tax was, if the country's gonna get, the stock market goes up, it went up,
And therefore.
drop down,
Violating.
went up. They said, how far the head is supposed to go up, to drop down, the way.
Definition.
All economists, all politicians, screamers, we are on the end, we are on the bridge, we are on the down. The government is putting that everything into the stock market just to stay afloat, just so the economy is still there. How far they gonna go? No, if they split it, what gonna happen?
Before that, it's that chip. So I've also. After it goes through that grind, into the compound.
I would love to have a free library, beautiful place. Library is a face of the city. People come in, they see library, they like it, they want to read. That's a very important place for the society.
To Denny's, Walmart, and Kroger. They all run compound. They said, does
This is the most of all. The time that you create a transaction. I mean, if they can't get you guys do it, if you do need to walk, if you had $100 to each house and $20 to each car in Texas to raise $2 million.
Yeah, no,
I don't think nobody would ever. $100 is nothing.
in this one time.
Read that. And $10 an
City went from
hour.
4:30
You won't believe how many people asking for $10.
went through.
They want you something,
City
$10 bucks. I don't want you to stop by here for $10. You know, cry and thank you. All the time. All the time.
So that's what I'm saying, this is minimum wage people.
And there's the rate of those people only escalating.
Alright.
7 years ago, I was doing some way it was. I looked like now, I'm trying to figure out what I do. I have a French I still have it.
Does that mean I don't
I
have?
open up business.
You know what?
I don't know how to do it. I can't do it because I have to run the shilling and all the insurance is going up, taxes going up, food's going up, gas going up. I work a lot harder. I'm not gonna take it. I'm not, I have not, I actually, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how much average folks was making, but $1,000 was not people buying bikes, cars, like nothing. Now, $1,000 is a lot of money. They want to make sure they buy a quality car for $1,000.
So they wrote.
Money's a money's a tighter, but I want you to consider it very, very serious. I mean, can I go and persuade the board member?
If the board's not going to approve, I think that would.
You can't address that issue. That's respectful to the board. Anybody who can stand up and talk to them, it's kind of like he's the library board, he's the library and help to grow and manage and expand and whatever we have to do. There's the institute to help. But if we start go to the meeting, we are pretty much being ignored, just like the way the situation yesterday was. We give all those questions. There's our attorney. I was like, do I speak? Am I under oath? Am I going to sue?
Well, and that's, but you know, that's how they feel, because, you know, the board feels, they already had that piece of paper that said, you may be sued, so.
I am sorry.
So then, like I said, thank you.
I believe that something will come out. Beside the problem that you feel, I feel something better. The communication is the model.
That's my experience. Law is my experience.
You pay county courts, you pay fire, library.
And you know what else I save? I save 11% on insurance.